everyone. I'm Bethany Losada, and this is my son, Lucas. Thank you for joining us today in my podcast, Overcomers, where we talk about how to overcome life's difficulties with a friend,
faith,
and a cup of tea. Today, we are drinking mangosteen tea that we recently got in our trip to Bali. Now, it came in a pre-mixed package with a little bit of sweetener in it. Let's see what you think. I think it's really good. What do you think?
You can tell that it has sweetener in it, definitely. I know they make this tea out of the skin of the mangosteen. I think mangosteen, the fruit itself, is really good, but this tea, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, well, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I like it pretty well. If you've never tried the fruit, I recommend trying it. See if they have it at your local grocery store. It's really delicious.
It is very good.
We're going to continue our summer series about overcoming common struggles as a family. Today we're going to talk about overcoming mealtime. But before we start that, Lucas, what soccer jersey are you wearing today?
I am wearing a Bali United jersey, an authentic one that I got from Bali. I was pretty fascinated about their team because they seem to be very good, and they've won 2 Indonesian championships, and I'm really excited to learn about them.
Awesome. Today I am wearing a jersey from the Mexican national team. Now, I know that we're into the Euro and Copa Cup, getting to those quarterfinals. Who's your favorite team to win each of those cups?
For me, for the Copa, I believe Brazil will win it. I am sad that USA got kicked out, and I hope Ecuador also does good because my dad's side of the family is from Ecuador. And for the Euro, Switzerland had a very good win over Italy 2-0. Hope they do good. And Turkey had a surprising win over Austria, and I really hope they do good too.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm going to root for the Netherlands in the Euro because my grandpa's from the Netherlands. And for the Copa, I'll go for Ecuador. So we'll see what happens over these next few weeks. Let's dive in and start talking about how to overcome the difficulties we can face during mealtime, whether it's distractions or pickiness. Take a look here at this painting done by Norman Rockwell for the Saturday Evening Post. It's called Freedom from Want and was in the March 6, 1943 issue. This is an iconic painting of an American family having Thanksgiving dinner. This is what everybody dreams of when they think of having a family dinner. Everybody is engaged, super excited to see what's been made and to try the food. Nobody is distracted. Everybody's eyes are centered on each other and the table, and everybody's full of joy and smiling. How often as parents do we want our mealtime to look just like that? But how often are we sorely disappointed by things that distract us and come up at mealtime? Lucas, what are some of those things?
I know that we get distracted a lot of times with screens. Maybe we're watching a TV show or texting on our phone. And this common trick from Calvin and Hobbes really demonstrates that well. Here's Calvin saying, "My TV show is starting. I'm missing my show." And then the dad says, "I'm sure your instinct for survival will kick in shortly. What's the big deal about dinner? Why can't I go watch TV? Lots of people watch TV while they eat." Calvin, "Dinner is the one time during the day that we set aside to be together and talk. There's more to being a family than just living in the same house. We need to interact once in a while." And Calvin says, "We could argue over what channel to watch." The dad says, "You know what I mean." Then Calvin states, "I've missed half of my TV show by now. I hope you're happy. You shouldn't be planning your life around TV anyway." Humph. Look, I don't think it's too much to ask that we sit together for 40 minutes without distractions and interruptions. Ring goes the phone. Then the mom says, "I'll get it. I'm expecting a call." Calvin states, "Go ahead, Dad. I believe you're saying something funny." And the dad says, "I have all these great genes, but they're recessive. That's the problem here." In this comic strip, we can see that Calvin really wants to watch this TV show, and the dad says we should sit together as a family and talk and interact with one another. Then the mom gets a call, she leaves the dinner, and Calvin states, "Oh, I think you're going to say something funny about family togetherness." And we see here that electronics really can tear family discussion apart and family dinner apart.
And it's not just the kids always either. I mean, Calvin wanted to watch TV and use a screen, but in the end, who's the one who left for a distraction was the mom, right? Because the phone started ringing and then she went to answer it.
Another problem with family dinner time is also picky eaters. Here's another comic strip from Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin says, "What's this? It looks gross." And the mom says, "It's a vegetarian meal. It's good for you." And Calvin says, "Vegetarian? Ugh, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm a desertarian." You can see here that Calvin, like many other kids, does not want to eat his vegetables. He really wants to eat dessert. The really good sweet stuff. And I know that's hard for a lot of little kids and sometimes even for us grown-ups.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced that, Lucas, where maybe I prepared something and you were picky and had a difficult time eating it?
Yes, I remember when I was smaller, about 5 or 6, my mom made this balsamic chicken. And usually the balsamic chicken was super good. But this time she used a different balsamic, and me and my family did not like it. We kept complaining how bad it was, even though our mom put hours of work into it, and she put her love into it.
But in the end, I had to admit that I didn't like it either. There was something wrong with that balsamic. But the funny part was, well, maybe not so funny, but you stopped wanting to eat chicken after that. All of a sudden, anytime you were served chicken in any way, you had this bad relationship with it, and it's taken years for you to go back and eat chicken once again. So there's many things that can counteract with our kids, create pickiness or food aversions to something, and that's another thing that we can struggle with a lot at family mealtime.
I guess I still don't like chicken. Like, I don't like to go to Chick-fil-A. I only go there for the milkshakes.
Yeah, but you'll still eat it, just not your favorite. What can we do to try to understand and create peaceful meal times to get closer towards that Norman Rockwell painting? Although we know that would be perfection and we're not going to get there most of the time, but releasing so much distraction and tension and just create a more enjoyable atmosphere. It's really important that we understand our purpose during our mealtime together as a family. Our purpose should be to create opportunities to connect, to share, to talk, to be present with each other. I know there's so many lessons that kids can learn just being at the dinner table each evening with their parents. They can learn how to communicate, how to have conversations, taking turns listening to somebody else and speaking themselves, using eye contact, being present instead of constantly distracted by looking at phones or something else. They're having to be present for you and giving you your full attention. It's also a great time to learn politeness and manners, to say please and thank you, please pass something. These are all important lessons to learn. Lucas, what are a few lessons or fun experiences you've had during our family dinners?
Well, I really like having in-depth conversations, and I really like hearing about people's day. So when my dad comes home, it's fun to hear about the stories that he has from the hospital, whether if they're serious or funny. And it's also fun to relate your day with each other, like what my mom did when we were at school, or my sister did in her school day. And also like telling people what I did in my school day. If I had a really hard test and I did really good, or if a teacher was mean to me, or if a teacher said something funny.
Now, at mealtime, I think it's really important to keep the conversation positive, enjoyable. You want it to be a time that your kids want to join you in. If you're going to argue every time or just talk about all the issues you're having with your children or frustrations, mealtime is going to be something they're going to want to hide from and get out of as soon as possible. So you want to encourage conversation. We like having humor, telling funny stories, lightheartedness, and also opportunity when there are more important things they want to discuss or talk about or pick apart from their day. But having it be a time that people and your whole family wants to come to because it is enjoyable and they feel encouraged and lifted up from that time together. So we have the distractions of technology and other things going on in our lives, and we have our picky eaters. What are some other things that we can do to help with picky eaters? Because I know dinner time can be the moment when they are going to have outbursts and throw fits, and that's not peaceful or enjoyable for anyone. And you really want to have a peaceful time with your family during dinner. A few things that you can try if you know your children really don't like fruit. Maybe you give them fruit in a fruit smoothie with their breakfast in a way that they might enjoy it and not even know that they're eating fruit, or through a homemade juice. with whatever fruit you think they would drink. Maybe if it's vegetables, being able to hide it in the foods, they don't even know they're eating it. I know a great way to do that is with soups or maybe with a meatloaf or a meat sauce. There's so many ways you can hide vegetables in there and still give them some nutrition so they can get the nutrition but also enjoy their meal and eat something that they still like. For my kids, they did not like milk. They still don't. Well, Lucas will drink chocolate milk now, if that counts. But I had to be creative in finding a way to still get them that calcium. So I would buy those yogurt tubes for them to eat every day. And my daughter was even pickier. She would only do the yogurt if I stuck them in the freezer and it was frozen. So we did that, eat a few yogurt tubes every day to give them the calcium they needed. Try not to create a struggle every mealtime. Now, can we jump straight from having these Norman Rockwell dinners every night that are so beautiful and everybody's happy? And, we don't all have the time to do that either. So let's be reasonable and have good expectations. Maybe your goal at first is to do it one evening a week. Or maybe for you as a family, you guys connect better and feel less stressed when you go out to dinner. So you choose 1 or 2 nights a week to go out and just be present and talking with each other for a couple hours then. Or maybe you can do it several evenings a week. Pick something that works for your family, but be intentional to find times to have healthy family dinners. Another good way to incorporate picky eaters, or maybe if your children aren't excited about dinner time, is to have them help you in meal planning. Lucas, you like to do that, don't you?
Yes, I know. I do like to pick out what we're eating. Me and my sister, we decide on what we're going to eat at the beginning of the week. And then usually it's me. I go to the grocery store with my mom, and I get to pick out the ingredients that we get. And I think that makes the meal taste a lot better in my perspective. And I feel like that's super helpful because when I'm picky about maybe chicken, I can ask my mom to cut the chicken up into little bits and throw it into lentils or something like that, or a soup, chicken soup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when they help pick out the meals, then they're already excited about it and want it. If I pick it out and decide this is what we're having, they're less enthusiastic. So it's a great way to come together as a family to do your meal planning together. Maybe some help with the shopping, some help with setting the table, cleaning up or doing dishes, and other ones help with preparing food. But everybody being involved and having a little job and partaking in the meal is a great way to get everybody on the same page. Also, helping prepare the food is a great way to taste the different ingredients and then look forward to it more. If you're helping me make it, you're more likely to want to eat it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of the way it goes. So we want to share with you one of our favorite family recipes that my kids love and we eat a lot that isn't too common in most households here in the States. So we thought we'd share it. Lucas, what are we going to make?
We are going to make lentils and rice. I feel like it's a really good meal, and it's just basically lentils with some vegetable in it and rice, flavorful chicken broth or bouillon rice. And you can hide bits of meat into the lentils, and that makes it taste really good. I know sometimes we do sausage in our lentils.
Yeah, so I know especially with younger kids, it's harder sometimes to get those proteins. Lentils are a great source of protein, and to mix it up without having to use meat, or if your kids don't like meat very much, you can put little pieces of chicken in there or little pieces of sausage and they might not even notice. So we're going to share with you and head out to the kitchen right now and show you how to make lentils and rice.
See ya in the kitchen.
Here's how you make lentils. First, you're going to take 2 stalks of celery and chop it up, 2 peeled carrots, chop those up, and 3 cloves of garlic chopped up. It's a great time to add any other vegetables you would like. We especially like a zucchini in ours. Go ahead and add it into your pot. And then for seasoning, you're going to want to add 1 teaspoon of cumin. And then you're going to buy 1 pound of lentils, which is about 3 cups worth. For each cup of lentils you use, you want to add 2 cups of chicken broth. Okay. So we're going to add about 6 cups of chicken broth to our lentils.
Looks tasty.
So that's going to be about 1.5 of these boxes. We're going to let it cook until the lentils are soft and still hold some texture. And then you can add salt to taste. Okay, now we're going to go ahead, put it on the stovetop and cook it till it boils, and then put the lid on and let it simmer until it's ready. Now for our white rice, we're gonna use long grain. Put in 1 cup of the rice and then 2 cups of water. And you're gonna put it on medium-high until it starts boiling. Once it starts boiling, we're gonna put 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon and let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes, and then turn it off and let it sit for 5 minutes before we serve. We're back now with our finished plate of food. We have the lentils that took about 40 minutes to cook to get the right texture and absorb all the broth. And our rice takes about 20 minutes to cook with that chicken broth. Lucas, let's try it and see what you think. This is also a great meal to prepare at dinner, and your kids can take to school with them for lunch if there's a microwave available for them. It has great protein, and we find it really flavorful and use it a lot in our family. What do you think, Lucas?
I think it tastes really good. I think the flavoring of the lentils is perfect. Don't think it needs salt unless you really need to. And I think the rice tastes really good with the chicken bouillon. That adds a lot of flavor to it, so you don't need a lot of salt in it. I think it just tastes really good.
So we hope that if you're looking for new recipes or something to try for your family that they might enjoy, this is something quick, easy, and nutritious. We're hoping that for you and your family this summer, you're able to find more opportunities to connect with each other and have peaceful interactions around your dinner table, learning to be present with each other and encouraging one another on. We're going to close with a verse of 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33, and it says, "For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace." Lucas?
All right, please pray with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you've given us. Thank you for the ingredients that we get to make this wonderful food with, God. And I just pray that we'd have peace at dinner time and that we would connect as a family and interact with one another. And I pray that we wouldn't just have peace only at dinner time, but through the whole day, that we would interact with one another and that we would talk about you and honor you and all that we think and do, Lord. So we pray, your will be done on earth as in heaven. Amen.
Amen. Thanks so much for joining us for Overcomers.
With a cup of tea.
We'll see you next time.
And a spoon of lentils.